What up, friends? We are back with another edition of The Drive presented by Oddschecker. With me, as always, is my guy, Andy Lack at ADP Lack Sports on X. Andy, week off. Tell you, for the circus-like schedule, I'm not one of those who complains when they decide that they want to take one of those rare weeks off on tour.
No complaints from me either. I actually turned 30
Oh,
over the weekend. Any advice for your 30s? Would you say
have
your
fun.
decade thus far, least favorite decade?
30s is good. Just, I don't know, have fun before you have kids because I'm
Yeah.
40 and I have three kids now. So it's a lot different how I felt and the things that I could do with my free time. Although I take it from your Twitter feed that there's no shortage of you getting out and traveling. So you're doing it just right. I think, my man. Worldwide Technology Championship this
You
week.
got it.
I
Yeah.
remember this sucker from last year, Andy. Eric
EVR?
Van Rooyen went nuclear down the back, won this thing at 27 under.
Yeah.
Um, we'll get to that odds board in a second. A cluster of names that'll be uncomfortable to pull the trigger on at those numbers, but just let us know what's the player profile we want to be betting here in Mexico this week. What is the skill set that we want to be investing in?
Well, we were on EVR last year, so I do feel pretty good about my handle on this golf course. And gosh, I kind of am probably going to be sounding like a broken record player at this point, man. But this resort course golf over the fall swing, super wide fairways, past columns, slow, uh, murder the ball off the tee and go find it with there's virtually no rough on the golf course whatsoever. And, it's a putting contest, man. 83,000 square feet greens on average make it some of the biggest greens on tour, some of the widest fairways on tour. So what that generally means is that the only way for one to separate oneself is with their putter or elite approach play. And that's what we got out of EVR last year. He was hitting his irons unbelievably coming into this event. But then you go down the leaderboard a little bit further, and it's Camilo Villegas, it's Matt Kuchar. It's you don't necessarily need to be a bomber by any means on this golf course to succeed. I just think you're typical resort course birdie fest guys.
Okay. Yeah, and you're definitely going to have to putt lights out. So Max Gracerman having a fun little swing here in the fall swing. He's 18 to 1.
Would you have guessed that he was going to be the favorite? I mean, I know
No,
a lot of options, but I still,
I would have clustered him with everyone else. I mean, like, clearly you see it, there's something special there, but I don't know that I would have pretty much cut him, almost 30% shorter than some of the other guys. But he must, he's the trendy, fun young player that seemingly people want to bet on, be part of that first win. Not one that I will be on at 18 to 1. He is the standalone favorite and the only one under 20 to 1 on that odds checker grid. There's 11 guys under 30 to 1. So I guess that means there's 10 guys in the 20 range here. I'll just mention that Cam Young is here. He is 20 to 1. Doug Gim, I'd say of this cluster of guys in the mid 20s, I think has taken some action today because when I
I,
looked at
I
the odds
I
this.
like him a lot. I just wish he was like 28 instead of 22.
Yeah, I mean, he was the highest I saw it today was 25. Maybe there were some 27s with the enhanced. He's also been pretty popular. But Hall, Hostler, Ben Griffin, Matty Schmidt, Harris English, and JJ Spawn, Lucas Glover, Mav McNeely, those are the guys between 20 and 30 to 1. So it is a cluster. Uncomfortable to have to pull the trigger on any of these. But you say it often, Andy. Sometimes these fall swing events, they present opportunity. It might be ugly to look at. You might have to bet guys at numbers you're uncomfortable with it, but there is opportunity there. Is that opportunity for you in this cluster, or we're just going further down the board? Because I've not made a bet here, I'll tell you.
No, I think there's some opportunity in this cluster. I mean, these guys are all fine options. It really comes down to what are the numbers that you can stomach. And there's some guys in the 22 range. Like I really like Doug Gim in a vacuum, but if you're asking me Doug Gim 22 to 1 or Ben Griffin 28 to 1, I'm gonna roll with my guy Ben Griffin 28 to 1. Number one player over the last 3 years in easy scoring conditions. He's a great resort course player. He's had some success on Pass Palom in the past. I really trust his ability to heat up on approach. So I rolled the dice with Ben Griffin at 28 to 1. Feel about as good as one can betting Ben Griffin 28 to 1 this week.
And that comes in as low as 20 to 1. As 28 to 1 seems to be the high number here for Ben Griffin, available at a few books. But events like this, Andy, the books, it's harder to find a consensus than the consensus in pricing is easier for them when it's, the same stable of higher end guys playing here. So we will move along in this 30 to 50 to 1 range. Again, I have not um made a move under 50 to 1, but I've been stuck through the fall here, Andy. I am in on Daniel Berger 50 to 1. That is a
Yeah.
play that I have made this week out in Mexico. He says he's healthy. He's gotten his reps in. Uh this is one where I was gonna bite. It's as low as 40, but there's still a few 50s available here. Checking that odds checker grid. So that is the move that I have made. That is the first bet I have made. Anyone in that 30 to 50 to 1 range for you, the EVR repeat, trusting Keith Mitchell. He's not hard to win money betting on Keith Mitchell, but if you haven't racked up all those L's, maybe this is a time to jump in and cash one at 33 to 1. Not for me. A lot of maiden opportunities here for some guys. Hoy, Rogers, anything in this range?
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned these guys in the previous tier because they're both at 30 to 1. I bet Cooch at 30 to 1. Do I feel great about it?
Cooch in
No,
Mexico.
but
Always
Cooch
good.
in Mexico, he's number one in my model. He almost won this event last year. He finished runner up. Played actually great on Sunday. I mean, shot 66 on Sunday, just got clipped by 2 strokes by EVR 63. And I mean, he has been one of the best pure putters in this field and one of the absolute best paspalum, slow green, easy resort course players for decades at this point. And he's been relevant in tournaments recently. Like, I know that he hasn't been the last man standing, but Matt Kuchar has been hit a lot more consequential golf shots over the weekend at tournaments like the 3M Open at Sedgefield than a lot of these guys. So, do I necessarily believe that Matt Kuchar can win the event? No, but he has still proven time and again that at this stage of his career, he absolutely can compete. He can find himself in the mix late on Sunday. So, give me Cooch. And then, speaking of shots of consequence, um, I bet Johnny Vegas on resort courses where you hit a bunch of drivers, and it worked for me at the 3M Open, and I see no reason to stop doing it now. He's been great at Corrales Punta Cana. He's a great middle to long iron player. So I did Kuchar. I actually got a 32 on Kuchar, 30 on Vegas, 28 on Ben Griffin.
Oh,
And then there's two more guys that I can briefly touch on in the 80 zone.
yeah, we'll get there. I was one of them Alex Smalley, Andy.
Yeah, shout
Oh
out.
yeah.
Gotta
I,
do it. Gotta do it. He's the number one
yeah,
paspalum
yeah.
player in the world.
Saw
Like
that.
Molly is going to win on a resort course, and by God, we will be there.
Yeah, that was an easy guess. I guess a lot of your followers might have been able to pin that one. I've been swimming around Smalley, saw those Paspalum numbers. Hard to ignore in a field like this where if it really does feel very wide open. And you can make the case, Andy, that I mean, I could just name names, but just it's easy to see here that there's guys at 80, 90 to 1 that I don't know how they have any worse of a chance to win than the guys at 50. And you
Yeah.
could probably say there's guys at 150 who you
Yeah.
don't know have any worse of a chance of winning this sucker than any of those guys at 50 to 1. I'm not picking on anyone specifically, but it just feels like you choose your own adventure here.
Yeah, it's totally fair. And there are even some guys a little farther down. I
I like
mean,
Toasty. Sorry to cut you off,
yeah,
but
Toasty's been pretty popular this week. A lot of folks on Toasty.
seeing him
He
as high as 90 to 1, as low as 60, the 90 coming in at bet 365.
there
That's
were
one.
some there were some 100s this morning that some Discord members got on that I am
I'm
kind
not
of
surprised. I'm not
uh,
going to lie. I was a little slow to it. An NFL Monday, a little
yeah,
groggy. No golf yesterday. Wasn't quick to fire up the odds boards. I saw a lot of books were slow to get them out. I don't really
yeah,
blame them.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'll probably bet Toasty at 90. So I'm happy for all those anyone who was able to crush it
yeah.
at 100. Anything like if I said Andy Lack, find me a winner, triple digits, triple digits
I
or
don't know
above.
about. Yeah, I have no one triple digits at the moment, but I did bet Nick Hardy at 80 to 1. That's our guy. We love us some Nick Hardy. I get
How
mixed
bad is
with all
Carl
my
Jan play? Juan playing?
uh, he wasn't on my radar, Jeff.
I'm just like I don't know. I just see him 300 to 1 here. Now I'm like just I went really deep. My fat thumb slipped and I went a little further
Yeah.
down the
I,
board here
I,
than I would have wanted. But that seems a little bigger than I feel like I've seen him
yeah, I'll
at
tell
some
you
of these
what,
fields. Henrik Norlander 80 would be
no.
another guy, but right now my bet's Andy. I know your card's a little more full. Daniel Berger at 50, Toasty at 90, and I'm gonna join this Alex Smalley party
Yeah, you got to.
80. I don't see myself getting in front of in that. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say the winner will come from that cluster of about a dozen names at the top, but I'm just skipping it altogether. I'm making that decision.
I'm with you there, particularly like the guys at the top like Cameron Young, no interest there for me. So I went
Could you overpower this place though?
like yeah, distance helps everywhere, but I don't think that this is like the distance bias golf course that others may think it is just because it is so non-penal to short and inaccurate players that you can make up for a lack of
Yeah.
distance with
Like Bo
so
Hostler won't find trouble off the tee here. And
no,
that
and if you look at the leaderboard last year, there's virtually zero correlation between any driving skill and success. So it's 1 year of sample size. For all we know, we could get an amazing driver winning this event. But if that's the case, the driving was only a piece of the puzzle for him because
I
you
don't know what Cam
can't win
Young.
this tournament with your driver. You need to win this tournament with your approach player irons.
Here's the other thing about Cam Young. I mean, he very well could be. We'd be happy for him. Finally get that. Well, yeah, it'd still be an asterisk because it's a swing season, a fall thing. But Andy, he's not here like I'm a PGA player who should have wins by now and I'm desperate to win. To my understanding, he is sponsored by Worldwide Technology. So
Yeah.
he is not there like, oh, I want to get my game together. I want to get a trophy. He is there, I think, following through on a commitment to as a brand
Yeah,
ambassador.
because he played it last year for
So I'm
some.
just that I don't know whether that matters, but I kind of think it does just a little. Like
It
it does
does.
a
Yeah,
little.
it does. No interest for me. I told you I'm rolling with my guys, Kuchar, Vegas, Griffin, Hardy, Smalley. I think I have room to add one more in there, but that's it for me, man. I'm going on a golf trip this weekend for with my buddies to celebrate my birthday. We'll not be watching a whole lot of this event, and then we got Butterfield, Bermuda week next week, Jeff. So it's kind of a rough pre-holiday
And
stretch,
it's a
but
busy November. We're golfing
Yeah,
a bit through November. That's fun. And then they'll finally take some consecutive weeks off.
there we go.
So
And
there it is.
we got a good
Andy's
football game tonight.
Andy's got a 5 pack. He's gonna bring home something in the fall swing. I
Oh
know
yeah.
it. So I would be confident riding Andy. I've given you my three though. Burger, Smalley, Toasty, as well. For Andy, I'm Geoff. We'll see you. We'll see you next week talking more PGA Tour outrights.